All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks a lot for coming and taking a time out of this amazing conference. So my name's Joshua Shigala. I'm the CEO of Vaultoro. And I've been in Bitcoin since for 9 years and been in the alternative currency space or the alternative economy space for about almost 20 years. In 2010, I came across Satoshi's white paper and thought, wow, she's solved the problem of the double spend problem. I was really happy about that. So I've been falling down this epic rabbit hole ever since. But in 2013, Mt. Gox collapsed and I lost a lot of money in that exchange. And so I was looking for a project to build, and I really wanted to build the most transparent exchange in the world, because really what happened at Mt. Gox is they were intransparent, right? No one could verify how much money they had, how much of the money of the creditors that was available there. So we then built Vaultoro. And for the last 4 years, traders have been able to basically trade on the most beautiful exchange into physical allocated bullion. Because the other problem that Mt. Gox had was that if you had fiat on that exchange, that fiat was owned by Mt. Gox legally. So the liquidators would come in and start chewing away at all this money that was sitting there, for which was allocated not to the person but to the exchange and also to the bank. So also if the banking they had also banking problems where banks would freeze massive amounts of funds and all these sort of things. So they started these natural Ponzi schemes without telling anybody, and they fell down this rabbit hole. So that's why we built Vaultoro. We wanted people to have the counter asset to be traded in physical allocated bullion, sitting in the user's name as their property, their legal property. That means if anything happened to Vaultoro, the liquidators could not touch our clients' assets. So in that 4 years, we've traded over 2.2 tons of gold, and our clients have been very, very happy with what we're doing. Last year's revenues were $36 million euros. We have 18,000 customers from 93 countries. And like I said, the 2.2 tons, we're doing very, very well. So today I want to announce that we're launching Vaultoro 2.0, which will have not only Bitcoin, because all those numbers that you saw were just purely with one pair, Bitcoin and physical gold. And what we've seen over the last 2 years or 4 years is that these altcoins are starting to take more and more of market share, and certain countries like Malaysia is heading more towards Litecoin, and America is very Bitcoin. Dash has got a big presence in Venezuela, so a lot of geographical areas are choosing different tokens, and we want to allow them all to hedge into a physical asset. Because we've all seen when Bitcoin tanks, everything tanks. So there is no real diversification. You do want to jump into a different asset class, but without going back to fiat, without going back to a debt-based system. So we've really focused on user experience. We wanted the most beautiful and easy to use exchange that anybody's ever seen. And so we partnered up with some UX designers to really have that as an experience. The other thing we wanted to focus on was, as much as we hate taxes, people still need to file them. And a lot of people are filing them wrong. So we wanted to give them the opportunity to just hit one button, to go export, and everything, all their trades, everything that's happened, give that printout to their bookkeeper, and the bookkeeper will be like, hey, I'm out of a job, give it straight to the accountant. And the accountant will file the taxes very, very easily. So with Vaultoro 2.0, we're launching Dash as the first altcoin to be traded with gold, and then have Litecoin, EOS, Ethereum, and IOTA, and a whole lot of, basically the top 10 cryptos. As you can see, our markets page. So our markets, we also want to have other vaulting facilities. So the current vaulting facility that we use is Pro Aurum in Switzerland. This is one of the largest vaulting facilities in Europe, fully insured and fully audited by one of the largest auditing firms in the world. So you can always be sure that the gold is there, it's been audited and accounted for. Great Britain is the next venture that we're going to, and they'll be audited as well as insured by Lloyd's of London. So who are we? What's the team? Well, there's me. I've been in crypto, like I said, for a very long time. Philip Shigala is my brother and CTO. He's been programming since he was 10 years old, and he's also programmed for the last 9 years for the gold industry, or 10 years. We have Waldemar Meyer, who was the head of the Precious Metals Association of Germany and the key account manager at one of the largest gold suppliers in the world. We have Anna Valdez, an alumni at the London School of Economics. Gabriel, who is our CMO, who has been a CMO for some of the largest unicorn startups in Europe. But we don't want to stop just at an exchange. We really wanted to look at how do you digitize the world's assets and make them transferable and tradable to everybody. And so we've built what's called the Anna protocol. And the first thing we're doing is to tokenize the gold. At the moment, the gold isn't tokenized. It's sitting there. All the settlement processes are happening on our database. And we want the ability for people to transfer this stuff and to make it a medium of exchange again, not just a store of value. So this is the problem with gold, is you really have an accessibility problem. You can't have someone in Myanmar buying 10 cents worth of gold in a high security vaulting facility. These facilities are traditionally for high net worth individuals. The elite of the financial network have only got access to these facilities. And we're really changing that. The other problem with gold is it's not very divisible, right? You can't really take your bar of gold and buy stuff because it's hard to divide. And the last problem is, of course, transferability. How do you take something and transfer it easily if it's bullion? And so Vaultoro 1.0 really solved the accessibility. We do have clients from Myanmar that hold 10 cents worth of gold, believe it or not. We have clients holding thousands of dollars and even millions of dollars worth of gold on Vaultoro. But the divisibility is also something that we solved. We have the purchasing power as an exchange to buy whole good delivery bars and then split that up in a pooled allocated mechanism and then have the allocation process and defragmentation process happening in the back end. But we still hadn't solved the transferability problem. And this is something we've been working on for the last 4 years. So how do you solve that transferability problem? Well, of course, you throw a blockchain at it, don't you? So what we've built is what we're calling the Anna protocol. This is an asset network application protocol which will allow other vaulting facilities to tokenize their assets that are above ground. This will allow people to basically have what Hayek, the Austrian economist, was trying to come across as allowing different banking structures to have private currencies and then competing in a currency. We're in a free market here in the West and most of the world, but money is still monopolized. So allowing different vaulting facilities to have tokens and compete with each other, if people start thinking that that vaulting facility is a bit dodgy or it's sitting in a geographical region that's becoming a bit war-torn, they can just trade out of that and compete in a free market. So the first token that we're launching on the Anna protocol we'll be doing ourselves with the current vaulting supplier Pro Aurum. And that'll be 1 gram of gold equals to 1 token with divisible to 3 decimal points, so you can send down to the cent. The revenue streams, well, of course, we're an exchange, so it's a very profitable side of the blockchain industry. I think the real most profitable part of this whole industry are exchanges and protocols, and we're doing both of those. The future revenue streams are, like I said, we allow other people to tokenize their gold that's sitting, their silver, platinum, palladium, their metals, and for that we'll be taking a fee for the auditing and due diligence processes that go along with that, as well as all the regulatory compliance costs that come along with that. You know, gold is a massive, massive market. I was talking to someone just out there. They said, oh, well, how liquid is gold? Gold is the second most liquid market in the world underneath the FX market. It is an absolutely enormous market with 163 billion annually spent with the gold markets, and that's physical gold. That's not considering the strange certificates and futures contracts. And to quote the World Gold Council, the gold market could attract up to $6.5 billion in investment in the UK alone. That's only the UK, if it was easier to access. And that's exactly what we at Vaultoro are doing. We're making gold easy to access as not only a store of value, but again, as a medium of exchange. So how do we fund this? Well, we're raising an equity round, our Series A equity round. We already have VCs on board, and we're talking here to many other VCs. That's why we're in the States. We're based out of Berlin, London, and Zurich, and we're definitely open to talking with mid-size investors that have got a fund ready to go. This fund will launch a crowd sale that will happen and the first sort of QE2, probably Q2 of next year, waiting for this bear market to dry up and launch what's called the stablecoin mechanism behind these gold-backed tokens, which will be It'll be like a membership token, like Binance model. Thank you very much, everybody, for stepping outside of this crazy hall of amazing opportunities. And if anyone wants to talk to me, our booth is just over there, and you can come and talk to me anytime about anything. Thank you very much. Any questions? I've still got 3 minutes of time here. No? All right.